Join me.
Huh?
Join me. The water's nice.
That high pitch is gone.
I still hear it.
Yeah, it was barely there.
Or it's in my head.
It's in your head.
It could very well be that too. Why'd you put a hat on?
Because I didn't want to put stuff in my hair. Are you recording?
No, I'm waiting for you to say when.
When was a couple seconds ago?
Okay, well, obviously it wasn't because you didn't push the button either.
I'm recording now.
So
Welcome.
am I.
Welcome.
Gosh, what a wiener.
Yeah.
Well, hello.
Hello.
We're doing it.
We are doing it.
Are you nervous?
Very nervous.
What are you nervous about?
Just talking in general.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
I'm not very good at public speaking, so for all of you who know that, enjoy.
I'm super great at it. It's like my favorite pastime.
No, I'm terrible at it. So I'm the kid who blacked out in front of the classroom.
Ooh.
I forgot what he said. So
Did that actually happen to you?
yeah, all the time in school. So I'll probably forget everything I've said this entire podcast introduction.
Did you like black out, pass out, or just like black
No,
out?
just black out.
Thank
Yeah,
God.
I just
That'd be
started
awkward.
talking and not know what I said. I'll have no idea what I say until I replay it back and be like, wow, that came out.
Of your mouth.
I said that.
Well, here we are.
We're doing it.
We got here.
We're really doing it.
We finally got here.
We did.
You met me at my challenge.
I met your challenge
Nice.
on my own terms, so
Very.
I appreciate
Well,
that.
that's usually how it goes.
Yeah,
It's marriage, though.
I catch up, you know.
I got to give you your time.
Thank you.
Meet you where you're at.
Yeah, it's good timing.
I like it.
It's good time. I think we're both in a good place to start it now,
I agree with that.
you know.
So, to start it, who are you?
I was trying to think of something clever to say, but it didn't come out. I am Nick Holmes,
Yeah.
husband to Crystal,
Who's that?
father to Olive and Archer. It's a crazy little family we've got going on here.
This is true.
I'm sure everybody will meet all of them at some point.
I'm sure Olive will be making plenty of cameos here.
Wouldn't be surprised if it was tonight.
I wouldn't either because I already told her, like, hey, we're going to be doing this, so stay in your room.
I'm barging
Or
in.
just like come in and be really quiet and then I'll
or
come help
sneak in
you.
around the door.
Yeah. She's really good at that
That'll
too.
happen. So
Yeah.
I'm sure she'll dive on here at some point to
I don't doubt that.
start her own podcast because this seems to be her thing too.
I would love that. She's pretty big into reading the Bible right now.
I know, it's pretty impressive.
So if she had a kids like Bible podcast,
That would be cool.
I would be so in for that.
Yeah.
So we would be making cameos on
She'd get
On
10
her
subscribers and lose her mind.
100%. Actually, speaking of that, in her room just now when I was putting her to bed, the like concept was like, you just have to give, doesn't matter what it is.
Right.
And she was like, the kid was saying like, if you have 1,000, followers or influencers or whatever it may be, like, don't worry about that. Just give what you can. And she was like, I have 1,000 subscribers. And I was like, oh,
She's
you're
got
missing
like
a couple
12.
zeros.
she's
but
got
it's cool.
12.
She's got the hype
But
of thousands.
She
So
thinks big.
I like it.
She thinks big.
All right. Well,
Who are you?
I'm Crystal, your wife,
Yes.
Olive and Archer's mother.
Yes.
The other 50% to this crazy dynamic
It's true.
that we've had for going on 9.5 years.
Yeah.
Married for 9, together for 9.5.
Yeah. Pretty close.
I'm sure we'll get into that at some point. More on our story
Yeah, we'll get
to
there.
come.
Yes. Well,
I like it. So we have 2 kids,
two very crazy, wild, awesome, beautiful
feral children.
Mm-hmm.
Olive.
Polar opposites.
Oh God, for real, polar opposites. Olive is 7. Archer is 2.
7 going on 32.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Archer's 2 going on 2 months. The rate he goes some days.
Yeah.
But
Like he goes backwards sometimes.
100% must be a boy thing.
Yeah, it's a boy thing.
Makes sense.
Because I'm 40, but sometimes I go backwards
4.
to about 12.
Ooh, you're giving yourself a lot of credit.
Very smart 12-year-old, but
You are.
12-year-old and nonetheless.
For sure, for sure. So what brought us here?
I don't know. A lot of things over the years, I think.
Yeah.
It's something I've always talked about doing with you or with friends or with anybody, but just never never got the courage to do it, I guess.
Right.
Or the will or want the, the real true want to do it. It's so easy to have ideas, but to put it in place is tough. So
execution is always scary. So
right. Exactly.
That makes sense.
But I went to a Christian counselor on Good Friday, and she really hit home in a lot of ways, and it kind of brought me to a point, I don't know what it was, 3 days later, where I was like, I think we should do a podcast. I think there's a lot of things I want to talk about, and a lot of, my faith has come a long way over the last couple of years, and, I think there's a lot of things we're learning as a couple and as a family,
yeah.
and, even personally, that I want to, just get off my chest and out of my head and,
yeah,
onto paper for a better phrase.
Right. This has become your journal.
Yeah, this is a journal, right?
I like that though.
If others follow, congratulations.
But, right. The modern day journal.
Yeah, the modern day journal. So
I like that.
But there's going to be a lot of things I'm probably going to say that are wrong or edgy because, I could come from a pretty edgy background in life. And so.
Well, I think a big thing to note too, right, for both of us is like we were both raised in the church. I mean, we went to a Catholic church growing up, and
right,
I just could never get on board with it. It was just never like my thing, and I also have to think like my parents weren't very consistent with it. They were going through their own things and their own journeys, and so we were never religiously in the church, pun intended. Right. And so now that's something that I really want us to try really hard to do with our kids, is like getting them to church, just getting them involved and staying consistent with it. Because I feel like, I don't know that it would have changed our lives, tremendously. I think we were put on our path for a reason.
Yeah, I think it would have changed our lives, but we wouldn't be here.
Right.
Right.
Learning it now.
Story, right. So.
And appreciating it the way that we do now.
Right.
I definitely agree with that. Well, I'm glad that you finally met me on the idea of doing a podcast. Yeah. I've only been asking for,
it's never too late,
ever. I wanted to do one with my sisters, but they always have a million things going on. And so I was like, well, maybe my husband will finally.
Right. It's hard to sit down and do this, right? Because it's 9:30 at night.
Right.
Right. Kids are bed finally. Put the dogs away with soundproof blankets and everything so nobody can hear what we're doing. We're stuffed in a corner in our bedroom. So it takes a lot of wanting to do it.
Yeah.
And finding the time to do it. That's one thing I'm trying to be better at, is finding the time to do a lot of things.
Right.
While being, half of a family.
Yeah.
And it's, you work all day and then you come home and it's kid time and dinner time and they go to bed and it's, husband-wife time, or it's creative time, or it's, sitting trying to make a coloring book, until 1 a.m. on a Friday. It's just, it's a lot of things to do, and it's hard. It's easy to go, we'll do podcasts for sure.
Right.
But let's do all the other things we want to do first and just do them all.
Yeah.
And then throw them out on the table, and one by one, they'll just fall off.
I'll say, see which one catches, but it's true.
Right.
I think that for this specific situation, it's like an extra added bonus of like husband and wife time, because like I had said to you when we were like testing things out, like there's some next level intimacy in having to like stare your partner. I don't
remember the last time I've stared you in the eyes and talked to you for more than 30 seconds
with no distractions.
Right.
Like no kids, no dogs, no phone, no work. Like, I think it's probably something else that if anybody doesn't know us, we do work together. So
we're never, you and I'm apart from you when I get to go to work and drive home from work. And that's
about it. Or when I'm like bringing Archer home to take a nap and for a few hours in the afternoon. But like you and I spend 90% of our time together. And in that 90% of the time, there's never this.
No, it's just passive conversation at this point, because there's nothing interesting throughout the day to talk about because we're living it with each other. So it's not like, hey, how was your day?
Right. We already know.
It was, did you hear about this? Oh, no, I was right. Of course I did. I was right there.
Right.
So it gets monotonous and it gets, boring's a bad word, but.
No, but it does get boring.
It does get boring.
It's
right.
Fair.
It does. Right.
It just becomes very mundane. Yeah. Like, well, I know how your day was. I spent it all with you.
Right.
So I don't need you to tell me how your day was.
Right.
But I do think that this gets to bring topics to light that we're both interested in, and that, we can shed some light on for maybe other families that are going through it, or they've
For
got
sure.
younger kids than we do. And so we can talk about those things and,
Right.
tell people what worked for us or what didn't work for us or what might work for them.
Right.
And
Because we've got a long way to go. 2 year
absolutely,
old and less than 10 years marriage. And, we can talk we can talk with a lot of pride and power when we're 30 years in. And
totally.
for now, it's about, the learning process. And again, right, not trying to tell people. There's one thing we wrote down. Keep looking at the thing, but it was we don't have the answers.
Right.
All we have is what we have our experiences up until now and
Totally.
until tomorrow.
Yeah.
Um,
And I'm sure it'll change by the time the next podcast comes out because something will have
sure.
come up. And
right,
I think that's part of this phase of life is like learning to really just roll with the punches,
right,
which is really hard for my type A personality.
yeah, not for me.
Yeah.
No, I just go with the flow.
You're like a constant punching bag.
Yeah, I'm a good punching bag. Sturdy, made of really.
You
good,
are.
made of really good leather.
Oh, I knew you were going to say
Yeah.
that too.
Yeah,
I knew that's the direction you were
hung
going.
on a loose bolt,
Okay, here we go.
but really strong leather.
So, what are some topics that you want to cover or that we want to cover in this podcast?
Everything. I want to talk about Christianity and as a general. I want to talk about, marriage, not just our marriage, but marriages that we've seen and, our parents' marriages and which goes directly into, our family life growing up and what we do with our family now. And, the Bible's pretty heavy on like generational. I don't like the word curses, but it's like a generational curse, right? Where, you try to battle that constantly with how your parents, raised you. I won't get into it now because that's just a topic I want to talk about. But, generational curses and, what we're doing to break those, generational things and to kind of better what our parents did.
Yeah. Kind of build on that foundation that they did give us.
Right. The good things, because we're here doing this now. We're not, drug addicts on the corner selling drugs or,
For sure.
hawking, scratched off cereal guns.
Ooh, sounds like a very interesting hobby.
Yeah.
I think one, too, for us, obviously, like parenting, you and I parent very differently.
Yes.
Which I would assume that 99% of relationships parent differently.
Yeah, it's called a man and a woman.
We're just different, people. So I would think that talking about those experiences and like where we stand with them, or moments where you've brought me back down from like being so frustrated over something that really at the end of the day wasn't that big of a deal.
Right.
Appreciating that balance. I think that's another thing that I've grown to love about us is really sitting back and being like, wait, I married somebody different than me for a reason.
For sure.
And so like them bringing that to my attention is obviously
right.
super important.
Although scary at times.
It can be pretty terrifying.
It's kind of peeking around the corner saying, psst,
hey,
don't hit me.
Do you think I would hit
Not
you?
physically, but sometimes your eyes are like fists.
This is good to know.
I know.
Wow. I wonder what our employees think of me.
No, they love you.
Oh, I think another big one for us that we're just now embracing and kind of embarking on, it's not necessarily our careers because our careers have ebbed and flowed over the years, even with each other and before each other. But a big one that I want to cover is like work-life balance.
Right. That I'm not very good at.
For
try
sure.
to be.
I mean, I'm
be
not
now,
great at it
but-
either. I was sending a text message yesterday at 7 a.m., which was Sunday,
Right.
to get answers on something. And I had to have somebody tell me like, hey, it's Sunday.
Right.
Like, calm down. So it's definitely something that you and I are working on, but I view it so differently than maybe our parents viewed it. I know like having a conversation with my dad, his biggest regret is like not being involved in like us kids and like our doing the things because he was busy working. And I'm like, God, I don't want to die with that as my regret. I'd rather die being like, I don't regret missing work. Like,
Yeah, no one's going to regret missing work.
right. So
None
I
of us
don't
really want to be there in the first place.
touche. So I think that one's like a new one for us and kind of being able to talk that through with people and maybe they've got advice too on things that we could implement and how to make
For
that
sure. Right.
be a bit of a smoother transition for us. And then probably your favorite topic.
What is it?
It's the last one on our list of things to cover.
Intimacy.
Yeah.
Mm.
I mean, nothing more intimate than this, but
That's a weird one for me.
I think that it's weird because you're on camera.
Yeah, but it's also just weird because, as a growing Christian,
Well, it's a taboo topic.
I'm just a very verbal person,
Mm-hmm.
and I have to hold back a lot of things that I say because
Or just edit them out.
I'm a growing Christian.
Yeah.
And so, this is a non-explicit podcast. So
Or like
for me to
sex
reel
work
it in
and
like,
real life.
that intimacy topic is going to pull out probably a lot of comedy out of me
I'm sure.
because that's my way of dealing with life is through comedy.
Right. Joke about it and then talk about
Right.
it.
So I'll probably slip in something that'll be like, well, edit that or beat that or
don't.
don't.
Because it's real life.
Because my mouth.
God, get it together.
It's there.
Wow.
Probably
probably-
floated over from you.
I doubt it. It's probably from your fresh beard trim you just gave yourself.
Came off your beard.
Did it? So I definitely think we've got an array of topics to cover
Yeah, it's never ending.
over how long we do this,
I'm sure friends will see it and family will see it and be like, oh, you guys should talk about that or you guys should talk about that.
which
or
would be awesome.
You guys should probably not do any more podcasts.
I don't think
I'm sure we're
anybody
going to
will
hear
say
it
that.
all.
Who do you think would ever say that?
I don't know.
I'm going down our friend list in my brain
Yeah,
right now,
yeah.
and I'm like, who would?
Who would say that? And I don't know. I don't think anybody.
I don't think so. I actually think that's probably one thing I appreciate about all of our friends.
They lie to our faces.
No, they're. I mean, they might. I don't know. No, all of our friends are like the best hype squad that you could ever have.
Yeah, I moved it.
I did, and you touched it very quietly, so good job. But no, I
We
think
do
about
have a good friend group.
yeah, they're always
around the
excited
country that
for
are
each
just-
other
Yeah,
in all of the things. So I do love that.
it's true.
Well, this is our introduction
Yeah, it's good.
to like what we're gonna do,
Yeah,
what we're gonna talk about,
it's the first time we've ever recorded
what we look like.
anything
I know.
together like this. So there was no
There's no script.
testing before this. So
Oh.
hopefully it went well.
Well, we'll find out if we talked for 20 minutes and then we had to edit it down to like 5.
There's no editing. It's going to be 18 minutes long.
I'm only at 17 minutes and 15 seconds.
I know. But
Well,
if we
the
look
producer
at
didn't say, hey, push the start button on your camera.
Oh,
We all have roles, you know.
I know. But camera should always be rolling.
Should it? This isn't the office.
Rule number 1.
This isn't the office.
Rule number 1.
Well, I think we did a great job.
I do too.
Here we are.
This was a pleasure.
Did we cover all the things we wanted to cover on our introduction?
I think so. We talk about work-life balance. I also want to talk about, business and trying to build a business based on faith and Christianity, and trying to instill that into employees.
Yeah.
Very subtly. I don't want to ever pressure anybody or push anybody or make something uncomfortable because that's not what we're about. But
Right.
I definitely want to. I read the Bible when I go to work in the morning, and the guys come in about 6:30, and I'm not the greatest at it all the time, but I do my best to have the Bible open when they walk into the office, just so it just, sparks their interest, hopefully. Or,
Right.
there's a lot of guys that are, very religious and Christian already.
Yeah.
But there are some that I think, have lost their way or
Yeah, of
aren't
course.
into it or whatever it is.
Right.
I've been there, so
I do
don't
think
judge
too,
anybody.
I love one thing that we do every day, and it's one thing that we're actually pretty consistent about, unless I'm not physically in the office,
All right.
which we should probably get better about. That piece of it is we go on a walk every morning. We bring Archer and the dog, but
Right.
every morning we pray,
Right.
and we do it together. And I find that to be like another super form of intimacy, like sitting
For
there
sure.
praying
Yeah,
over your
it's-
spouse,
right.
like while you're walking with them, but just praying over everything, our friends, our family, our business.
Right.
It was like a big thing for us to implement. And I love that we do it. And the days that we don't get to do it because we're not together is actually kind of like a bummer. So
Right. And I still, I still pray every morning.
yeah. And I pray on my
Regardless,
way.
I have a rosary in my truck that I throw around my neck, when I get in my truck in the morning. And kiss the cross and pray, and
Yeah.
that way, no matter what, I know I prayed today, and I started doing affirmations, in my river mirror,
Right.
where I actually, look at
What do
myself
you
in the
tell
face.
yourself?
It's a secret.
What?
It's between me and the Lord.
Oh man, what a bummer.
Sorry.
Maybe I'll just like pop up one day.
It says I look at myself and I say, Lord, you created just
I can't wait.
an immaculate man.
Oh, here we go.
And today,
Here we go.
he's going to do immaculate things.
It's true though. You are always going to do immaculate things, and I do think that you talk things into existence.
That's 100% what
I mean,
I'm
you
doing.
manifest
And
those things.
my counselor, I'll call her Miss Mary, not Dr. Mary. Miss Mary just makes more sense to me. But she's a pastor too, and she I've only seen her a couple times, but she gives you these handouts every time you're there. And the last one this last week was affirmations and saying things out loud and saying it 3 times, and just making sure you're looking at yourself in some kind of mirror.
Right.
You're not just saying it into the air, but actually saying it to yourself. That's and that's not easy to
With purpose.
look at yourself in the mirror and say really positive things, because negativity is so easy to latch on to, and being a constant reminder to just be positive.
Right.
Even when things suck, be positive, because it's just in the moment. They just suck in the moment.
It's true. Usually it always passes.
Everything gets better no
Yeah.
matter what. I mean, if you want it to get better.
Yeah.
You pray out loud and you call on the Lord to help you, but you gotta want it.
And you also have to let it go.
Right.
You got to give it to him.
Right. For sure, you have to let it. Yeah, and that's another topic we'll talk about later on. But yeah, you got to let it all go, and I've learned that in the last few weeks. In work, waiting on contracts, or maybe emailing clients like a frazzled little schoolgirl sometimes, because I'm just like, I don't want to wait, or I want it now, and
Right.
You just get a harsh reminder that you need to chill out.
Right.
You need to wait. I already told you, it was going to be fine.
Right. You need to listen.
Chill.
Yeah.
So
it's true. I just think about that every time. I'm like, oh man, are we going to make payroll, or are we going to do this, or are we going to do that?
Every single week we have.
And every week,
right,
it's just shown up and then some. So
right,
it is definitely a really hard practice to put into play, but letting go and letting God really has changed my life.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm like, I know you'll show me the way.
Yeah.
Whether it's money coming in or us figuring it out.
Growing your faith. And
always shows the way.
Yeah. Growing your faith and literally having conversations, with Jesus that, he's your best friend sitting next to you.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Those are the biggest ones.
That's when you've crossed over the line of, I'm here now. I really, I'm listening.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not feeling crazy anymore for thinking I'm hearing things, when I know I am, I'm trying to move on them.
Well, they say when you pray, it's not for Jesus, it's for yourself. So you need to.
Right. And praying is just conversation. I literally, when I pray in the morning, I just have a conversation. That's all they are. They're just conversations.
I do think.
Like he's in the passenger seat.
Yeah, I do think that this just came into my brain though, but I would love for us to pick a Bible verse to close out.
I would like to do either that, the beginning or the end.
Yeah. I think we can totally, close it out and something that we can focus on and really deep dive into, and maybe we haven't, dove into it yet, but it's a topic that we're going to go, take the next week or however long in between these episodes we do, and really kind of deep dive into that piece of the Bible and, share what we've learned in that regard too. Cause you read the Bible and I listen to it. My goal is to listen to the entire Bible this year. So there's definitely different ways to do it. And so I think that would be fun to close her out with a Bible verse.
Yeah. I would like to sometimes like to open with it, because then you can kind of talk about why you picked it versus trying to rush out of the room.
That's true.
It.
Yeah. We can close out with prayer. You know?
Open with the verse, close out with prayer. And, we can pick a verse. One of us can pick a verse and really talk about why it kind of hit home for the week or this podcast or whatever it was. And
I do love that idea.
Yeah. So a lot of good stuff to come.
Well, we did it.
We did do it. I heard a chicken.
You did. Shh, don't tell anybody that they're back there.
Don't tell the HOA.
They don't know that they're back there. We don't have chickens.
We've gone through like 13 chickens. We have 2 left.
We have not gone through 13. Have we gone through 13? No. We started with 5. We only have 1, so there's 4. And 2 other ones died, so 6.
I know.
It's really sad.
They probably don't like us anymore.
What do you do with the chickens when they die?
Put them next to the sourdough.
Oh, I mean, that'll be a whole nother topic, I'm sure.
Yeah, just joining every hipster tale we can find.
Conspiracy theorist
Mm,
to your core.
yeah.
Excuse you.
Excuse you.
Oh my God, what's wrong with you?
Well, just pick up everything, don't they?
They really do. You might have to edit that part out.
Nope.
All
It's
right.
all staying.
All right, I like it.
Alrighty. Let's close it out. Why don't you close it out with a prayer?
Go for it.
Got it.
It's Monday.
So you start the week off.
You started the week off.
I'll end the week.
I don't know why you keep doing this to yourself. Why would you end the week if I'm starting the week?
It's fair.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It wouldn't work like that.
Start it off.
All right. Well, then I will start her off. I'll make it short and sweet because we've already said our prayers today. But God, thank you. Thank you for a beautiful day, for bringing our kids home to us safely, for keeping you and I close, probably closer than we've ever been, for giving us the courage to get to this point. I know this isn't an easy feat for both of us, but I am grateful that He has led us on this journey.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait to see where it goes. I'm grateful for all of our friends and family. Please keep them safe. My parents are currently abroad in Spain, so please keep an eye on them and let them enjoy their trip and bring good health to all of our friends and family. In Jesus' name.
Amen.
Amen. Peace out. Girl Scout.
Till next time.
Much love to you guys.
Bye.
We did it.
We did it. 25 minutes.
Now it'll be like 30 minutes of outtakes from here on. Are your armpits sweating?
No.
My iPad kept going black. I'm like, well, fuck it. I'm going to have to look over there anyway.
I kept touching it.
I know, I'm like... I'll just have to make it